In today's video, we are going to be discussing the 3 key components for creating a successful lesson plan. Planning for your lesson is important because it creates a step-by-step blueprint for the material that you will be covering in class. Lesson planning also helps with time management by ensuring that all content is covered. Let's get started. There are 3 main components of a lesson plan that we will be discussing today: objectives, strategies, and assessment. Some lesson plan templates will include more components like activities and materials, but today we are only focusing on these 3 pieces. The first component that we will be discussing are your objectives. Objectives are a simple statement of what you want the class or your students to be able to do. You can have big objectives that will encompass the whole semester, or you can have small objectives that will only be for that day's lesson. We are going to focus on one day's lesson. A good objective is going to complete the following sentence. By the end of today's class, my students should be able to, and then you would list the things that your students should be able to do. A good rule of thumb is to keep this list short. No more than 3 to 4 objectives for any given lesson. In fact, you may only have one objective for some lessons. Next, we'll move on to strategies. A strategy is your plan for the actions that you and your students will take to learn the content of your lessons. A strategy could be a simple lecture, followed by a classroom discussion, or it could be a complex lab with many moving pieces. No matter what strategy you choose, it is important to have a plan in place. Planning your strategies will help with time management, alignment with learning objectives, and classroom management. Many strategies for classroom instruction exist. As a teacher, selecting a strategy appropriate for your audience, content, and personal style gives you the opportunity to exercise your own personal creativity. The last component to lesson planning is assessment. The purpose of conducting assessment is twofold and allows the instructor to check for 2 levels of comprehension. 1, have my students learn the content that they need to be successful? And 2, have I taught the material appropriately? Assessment can be formal or informal, and it allows faculty to step back and evaluate what has taken place in a lesson. In your classroom, assessment might be a short review quiz at the end of a class to check for understanding, or assessment might be an ongoing journal recording of student impressions of the material. Assessment could be a case study, where students are given the opportunity to apply new knowledge. Each of these 3 components work together to create a lesson plan that improves student knowledge and retention. A successful lesson plan will demonstrate alignment between objectives, strategies, and assessment. Lesson planning can be difficult at first, but with time and practice, it does get easier. Take advantage of your planning stage by exercising your creativity and design. Your students will thank you for it.